Hello, my name is Prashanti Herb. I'm an Ayurvedic practitioner, ethnopharmacologist, activist, and the herbal facet of the original Organic India crew. This herbal journal today is about a tiny but mighty herbal ally, Bhumyamalaki. This herb shows up all over the world. It's one of these world kind of herbs. All over India, of course, Southeast Asia. It's used all over Africa. In fact, a lot of the research that we have on this herb is from African researchers. It's in the Caribbean a lot and all over South America, especially Brazil. And no matter where in the world this herb is used, often it is used for the same thing, of course. Its activity emerges in all cultures around the world. And that is, ready? Liver, kidney, deep terrain, restoration and protection. One more time. Liver, kidney, deep terrain, restoration and protection. We will look more into this as we explore in this herb journal. In fact, one of the Spanish names for this herb, Chanca Piedra, means stonebreaker, and it refers to Bhumyamalaki's ability to reorganize the kidneys to such a deep extent that it becomes no longer suitable terrain for calcium oxalate crystals to form. Very interesting. The energetics of this herb is, it's a cooling herb, and the three tastes are bitter, astringent, and sweet. The more taste an herb has, the more potent it is. So here you have a three-taste herb. It means it's a powerful herb. So before we go on, let's look at some images of this herb. This first image is of Bhumyamalaki as a little sprout, a little seedling, so to speak. From watching Bhumyamalaki for many years in India, I learned that in many cases you can learn how an herb will assist a human or any other animal by watching when it appears, or when its fruits appear, or when its roots become suitable. In the case of Bhumi, by the way, is just like a nickname that a lot of people have for this herb. In the case of Bhumi, which is for the most part an annual herb, it appears right at the end of the monsoon, around August or September. During the monsoon in India, there are many microscopic, serious waterborne challenges to all sorts of life forms. By the way, obviously I'm being a bit vague here because I'm committed to not speak about disease, but only to speak about wellness. So when I make statements like microscopic, serious waterborne challenges, just read between the lines. So back to our seedling. Just as Bhumi has developed strategies to protect herself from these microscopic, serious waterborne challenges, so when we consume this little mighty one, we borrow these molecular strategies to protect us. Bhumyamalaki is one of the best hepatoprotective herbs. That means herbs that protect the liver that you can use. In fact, in the Caribbean, one of the names of Bhumi is Creole quinine, which is a testament to its ability to protect deep organs from organic threats that arise around waterborne vectors. In this next picture, we see that Bhumi has grown up a lot and is thriving in a lush environment of other herbs. That is her at the center stage. Do you see what she's growing in? What other herbs? Look carefully. Yes, there's some grasses, and there's a few large leaf herbs called arjuni. But you see that other herb which dominates the background of this pic? It has small ovoid leaves and little white flowers. This Bhumyamalaki is growing in a field of glorious Brahmi, the Bacopa maniera, that was being grown for Organic India by Dr. Brijnath Singh. I was photographing the Brahmi actually when I saw this beautiful Bhumi amongst her allies. Speaking of allies, in this next picture we see Bhumi to the right, and who is that to the left? Dancing with Bhumi almost in what looks like a pas de deux. That is Rama Tulsi. You know that monocropping plants is a gateway to disaster. Well, when it comes to growing many wonderful organic Indian herbs, often you only have to plant one of them and dozens of others come streaming in and volunteer, as we say, to grow in this rich, wonderful, balanced, empowered biota. For instance, if you only grew Tulsi in a typical field in North India, like Organic India does, you would likely also have Bhumi growing there. You'd have Bacopa, Centella, Mota, Amapachik, and Shankpushpi. and sometimes even ashwagandha and shatavari growing right alongside them. Promoting diversity at all levels in culture and language and ecosystems, agriculture and ideas is key to sustainability. So this is something that is readily accomplished when seeking out Bhumyamalaki. Speaking of diversity, I love it when beautiful bugs like this beetle sitting on Bhumi find their way into our fields. Again, diversity in plants and insects, species, cultures, humans, and companies and ecosystems and biotas. This is so much of what makes life so precious and what we so strive to protect. So whenever you buy herbs or food or any product, make sure you are protecting diversity. So what's in a name? Bhumyamalaki. Let's look at that. You can tell a lot about these wonderful herbs in the Ayurvedic tradition that have these Sanskrit names because so much had to be packed into these names, so much can be unpacked. They're almost like taglines. So Bhumyamalaki. Mala means something that's stained or almost dirty. Amala means something that is unstained, that is pure, that is stainless. So amalaki, that ki means something that creates stainlessness, that creates purity, that creates like just homogeneous cleanliness, you could say, and optimization. So, and then Bhumi, that refers to the earth, and to some extent you have this other herb, Amalaki, which grows in a tree. So Bhumyamalaki is like Amalaki except near to the earth. But Bhumi also refers to like deep earthiness or coreness, that which is at our core. So Bhumyamalaki refers to the ability to make stainless, to optimize our core, which in this case is our organs, our deep organs. So here's a little Sanskrit quiz for you. What's the Sanskrit word for liver, kidney, deep terrain, restoration, and protection? There could be many Sanskrit words for that, of course, but one of them literally could be Bhumyamalaki. You know, there's that saying, it's not necessarily what you do, but how you do it. You know, there's two ways, there's many ways to approach medicine, but there's two categories. One could say there's like going after and attacking a disease. That's like kind of a masculine way, and it tends to be symptomatic. It's like what Western medicine does a lot. The other way is creating a terrain absolutely unsuitable for disease and extremely suitable for wellness. In my view, 10-20% of the time, you're doing it the masculine way. 80% of the time, which you are working on your wellness by promoting a terrain that is unsuitable for anything except wellness. So this is what Bhumyamalaki is all about. It's a big part of it. You know, there are ways where it's masculine medicine, where it directly goes against waterborne diseases and things like this, but it's hard, and it's real value to us. It's a deep terrain herb. An example of this is what we referred to before, this Chanca Piedra, of how it has the ability to make the calcium distribution through your kidneys homogeneous. Because when it's not homogeneous, when it starts to aggregate, you get a lot of problems. Check out this high-powered microscopic image of Bhumyamalaki. First of all, realize that the maintenance of normal levels and distribution of calcium is critical to the function of many plants, including their rigidity, protection, detoxification, ion balance, and even light reflection. And high cellular free calcium concentration is dangerous for plants. So some plants have developed strategies to protect themselves from concentrations of calcium. Check out how the refractive calcium oxalate crystals seen in the leaves of Phyllanthus niruri here are kept equidistant. They do not aggregate, hence they do not form stones or dense clusters in the Bhumyamalaki. So just as it can protect itself from uneven calcium distribution, so it helps us. It's another example of how we borrow plants' strategies to remain healthy, to help us remain healthy. The same basic molecular strategies by which Bhumyamalaki is able to package calcium oxalate crystals is available to us when we consume bhumi. Here's another image showing how calcium is organized when we have bhumi in our kidney and when we don't. Again, bhumi supports an even distribution that supports deep wellness. It's fascinating how this works. So bhumi simply supports the terrain that is unsuitable for imbalance. And it does that by a whole confluence of factors. There's more than 50 phytomedicinal compounds readily identifiable in Bhumyamalaki. For instance, the triterpenes have been found to make the terrain of the kidneys unsuitable for imbalance by supporting healthy levels of the excretion of stone-forming constituents and the healthy levels of those molecules responsible for crystal deposition in the kidneys, and by helping to maintain healthy levels of uric acid in the kidneys and the urine. So the lignans and the Phyllanthus in bhumi are really great for this. Also, there's a series of alkaloids in Bhumyamalaki, very special, powerful molecules that manifest in us, the activity manifests as strong antispasmodics. So if there's something that is going to cause pain in our kidneys, like a stone for instance, it tends to not. It also is one of the ways that bhumi supports us. There are many human studies in the Western scientific peer-reviewed international journals that show how bhumi helps us. Here's a list for us. It normalizes elevated urinary calcium levels in human. It blocks the formation of calcium oxalate crystals. It supports healthy levels of blood sugar. It supports, it's hypotensive. It supports healthy pain response. It minimizes organic threats to liver and kidney health. It minimizes non-organic threats like toxins. It supports healthy genetic transcription. It supports apoptosis, healthy programmed cell death. And also in all these studies, there was no renal, cardiovascular, neurological, or toxic effects known at all. So, as far as the dose of Bhumyamalaki, the traditional dose is actually 10 to 20 mLs of the swaras, which is the fresh juice. Often in Ayurveda you see this. The optimal way to take an herb is the juice, but you can also take it as a whole herb. There's many benefits to that. In my view, you take Bhumyamalaki with 4 main different herbs. One of them is kuki, one of the best herbs on the planet that we have for liver health. Another one is punarnava, a fantastic liver kidney herb. Punar means again, nava means birth, so it's rebirth. It refers to how well it is at the same thing, at reprogramming, at rebuilding our deep inner terrain at the organ level to sustain and to promote wellness and to be unsuitable terrain for any imbalance. So these 3 herbs, Bhumyamalaki, kuki, and punarnava, was tested for decades by one of my dear friends and mentors, Dr. Narendra Singh. He tested each herb on thousands of people and saw their actions. Then he combined them into a formula and then tested that on thousands of people with remarkable results. It's incredible. So that formula he calls the liver kidney formula. And Organic India makes that formula. It's truly one of my favorite formulas on the planet. A third herb I would take this with, of course, is turmeric for many reasons, for liver and kidney. And then the 4th herb I would take this with is tulsi, also a great herb in this situation. So you just can take the liver kidney formula and wash that down with some tulsi tea, especially the new tulsi cleanse tea. And it would be a wonderful confluence of factors for you. So much more to say about this wonderful herb and its allies. I mean, hours and hours we could go on. But I'll sign off for now. This herb journal has been brought to you by Organic India and Pacific Center of Ayurveda. Thank you. Fare thee well.